I met Vishal bhai also after the.
Oh, lovely.
He came for the screening. I think you have to be a very good person to play a bad person. Because people who play very, very good people are sometimes very bad. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She looks into your eyes and you're just like, it's a dream. I don't think it naturally comes to me to go out and talk about my work or be like, let me get that interview. Over the years, you were talking about the show recently where Mona Singh is there. I think she's absolutely incredible.
One of the best right now.
You see her journey, right? I have no ego writing to filmmakers. I never even imagined that I'll get Mardaani.
Correct.
Hi, this is Prajesh Kashyap and you're watching me on India Forums.
Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss another update from India Forums.
Hi everyone, this is Kural. You're watching me on India Forums, and whenever you meet a person who's played a different kind of brutal, but a brutal person on screen, and when you meet them in person, you see just how sweet, amazing people they are. You see that is what acting is all about, right? Because if you've seen Mardaani, and I'm sure you've seen it already, you know how hideous this man was on screen, but he's like literally the most lovable person in real. Of course, I'm talking about Prajesh Kashyap. Hi man.
Hi man, what's up?
Great.
Thank you for calling me the sweetest person.
Sweetest person, because you are and I've anyways been talking on and off with him otherwise, and I'm like, but I think that's the best thing, that of course we've done this long enough to understand there's always not going to be two different personalities in general, but people also get surprised by it still today, like even though there is this suspension of disbelief that okay, I know that this guy is obviously not a bad guy in real, but still that iota of thing that oh my god, he's such a sweet guy. Do you continue to get instances right now, because on your Instagram or wherever that like oh shit, that sir aapne ye kya kiya wo kya kiya?
Yeah, though I get a lot of that people can't they are very excited to see that you look like a bad person, but and I'm like, but that's acting.
Exactly.
I think you have to be a very good person to play a bad person, because people who play very, very good people are sometimes very bad. So I feel like it eases you out a bit, right? Like as an actor. So it's always very interesting. True. And it's so fun to play something which is grey also. I really enjoy it, and I'm surprised when people say, "Arey, aap to bahut sweet ho." And I'm like, yaar,
मैं वैसा कभी नहीं बनना चाहूँगा. The way my character is in the film. And now I'll get to this, because of course this has obviously been a constant 12 years of the Mardaani franchise, right? 2014 to 2026 so far. And of course there is always this constant thing that the moment the first film landed so well that it did, then it was oh my god, now the villain is going to be so important. And then you have Mardaani 2 coming. Vishal Jethwa was so freaking good, and he had a lot to work with also, like this eccentric badass like a boy who's just dubious on every level possible. Then we obviously go to Mardaani 3, and in your character it's a lot more calculated. He has obviously, if you've seen the film, which you should already, because now it's there on Netflix as well, you see all these instances that you understand what happened to him, why is he making these choices, which is always important for a brainiac villain, so to speak. I want to understand your perspective in general towards approaching a character like this, because that there is going to be this franchise pressure of sorts, especially knowing, as I said, industry chatter, कि भाई Mardaani तो villains के लिए ही जानी जाती है. So and when you have two really good actors who've done two great roles in their own right, how did you look at it?
I just followed the cue of my director and my producer and the writer, because I feel like that's the only way you can truly commit to something.
Right.
So I was aware of the fact that people have really loved the villains, but I could not let that come into the way of my preparation at all. Because for me, what was the most important was what my director and I were setting out to do, what the writer had written, because it's a new director. So the director also new.
Correct, yeah.
The story is also
new, yeah.
So I think हमारी कोशिश वो थी. मतलब we were aware of the legacy, we were aware of the pressure. There's Rani ma'am, who is a part of the legacy with us. So that was also a guiding spirit in many ways.
Correct.
But I tried as much as I can to not let that impact me. In fact, I remember even when I had bagged the part, somebody from the casting also came and told me, said, "Abhi aap प्रेशर है अभी आपके ऊपर. I said,
yeah.
भाई अभी मेरी शूटिंग भी शुरू नहीं हुई है. So but I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
Like as artists also. Like I think awareness is good, but too much awareness will come into the way of your own preparation. So I just had to, and I met Vishal bhai also after the.
Oh, lovely.
He came for the screening and he was just so sweet. And
He's
then,
this kind boy.
and he was very very nice. And then I immediately was like, I said, but bhai, I said, नहीं अभी तुम उसके बारे में बात मत करो, because homebound.
Oh yes,
I
of course.
watched and I was like, but bro, he was very sweet.
How
so
nice.
to also speak to him
Yeah.
was kind of like very nice and validating.
Fab,
So
yeah.
I just had to do my job. I
Love
tried
it.
to do that.
No, absolutely. I agree. And I think that's always the best way to,
Yeah.
approach, especially when you're doing a franchise film
Yeah.
and everything, I
Yeah.
guess, right? But, I always find this very fascinating because I talk with, seasoned actors. I talk with newer people, like who are still, someone like you who's,
Yeah.
finally finding his footing gradually. But I also know that the idea of being an actor in Mumbai is a very lonely process. Of course, you have your lovely people around. You might be living with your family or not. You might be living with a girlfriend, boyfriend or not, whatever, friends, everything. But still, it's a very lonely process because there is rejection, there is waiting. I think waiting is probably the worst because you have to wait and wait and wait. Sometimes you just have to be positive. You can't do much. And that leads to a lot of overthinking because as a human being, if you're not, I'm sure you keep yourself busy in certain things, but I think this is also an aspect. So I just want to know your process as an actor because as I said that yes, you didn't want to get anything effect from the Mardaani franchise or any of the chatter and get to you because you wanted to focus on your bit. But then of course, while you're shooting or before you're shooting, and if you have the time, there's going to be so many factors running through your head in your idle mind or just getting to know through social media. I want to know, how do you navigate all these things?
So you're talking about how did I navigate it while I was shooting the film?
Yes, and before also.
Before.
Like you back the part and it might be a while before you started the shoot, right? And then you are like, okay, now abhi mujhe focus is pe karna hai, but I'm also living alone in my house or having these moments that, oh shit, yeah, but what if they are right? What if they are... I'm just asking as a human being because you end up overthinking so much sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have been doing theatre for the last 8 years. I came to this city. I learned theatre. I'm a theatre wala.
Right.
I have friends in the theatre who are like family.
Lovely.
So for me, this was an opportunity to show my talent.
Okay.
And theatre has always grounded me. I go back to it immediately. Even when I was shooting,
Oh, lovely.
I had directed a reading of a play.
Super.
And I was doing my plays at the same time. So I think that was a huge factor in just keeping me sane and grounded because at the end of the day, you are not doing this alone. You are coming from a community of actors. I am here, but I have many actors and colleagues who have brought me to this point.
Correct.
Working with them, their support, their love. That keeps you grounded, I think. And you are right, it's very hard and it's challenging to just survive as an actor. But I think in my case, theatre has kept me sane. My mentors in the theatre, people who have taught me over the years. तो मैंने सबसे पहले उनको बोला कि sir, ma'am, this movie has come out. And the messages that they sent me has been the closest.
The true win for you, so to speak.
So
right?
I think actors need to, I keep telling that to people also, find different avenues to keep yourself sane and active and creatively energized.
Love it.
Otherwise, it's your mind can start playing games with you.
Exactly.
And then it's endless. And also like the scroll.
This, yeah.
I don't think it helps.
TV
I don't
devil.
think it's real also.
Yeah.
I think you have to focus on your own journey and you have to have solid friends and good mentors so that you can come back to it. When you go through the highs and the lows, they are the ones who are going to keep you sane. So I've been very fortunate in that sense. I was talking to them while I was shooting. I would discuss my scenes with some. I mean, of course, I couldn't talk about them.
Correct, at length, yeah.
To a lot of people, but like really close friends of mine, I would say, yeah, like my best friend, I would always run scenes with her and be like, okay, I'm doing this.
Nice.
So वो तो सबसे ज़रूरी है.
Yeah.
I think, and that keeps you sane. That kept me sane.
I love it. It's such
My friends have helped me wear these clothes today. And,
that is so nice.
and
That's
they've
how
styled
sweet.
me.
You're
So
truly
it's-
blessed with great set of friends.
I am. I'm very, very lucky.
And trust me that in a city like Mumbai, we keep saying that repetitively, but it's very important, especially because, and real friends.
Yeah.
That's another very important
Absolutely.
thing, because friends can be so-called friends as you tag anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
There you can have a couple of conversations with someone and they'll call you a friend, but no, real friends who actually stand by you in the truest sense.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. And now I'll get to this bit because again, the moment a Mardaani film happened, of course, the reason why people keep saying that the villains were so popular and loved and everything is a lot to do with chatter, right? Of course, they were good. Like everyone who's acted in general, be it Tahir, be it Vishal, in your case, you and Malika, everyone, you all have been so good. But so much of that is also a result of chatter. Once the film releases. Critics are loving it. Okay, fine. There are great reviews. You also got great reviews. I know this for a fact. I was one of them. But yeah, like I know. But there is also this extra added layer that okay, now you see them a little more often, right? You see these actors appearing. I don't mean to say necessarily at events and everything, but there is just an extra little added layer of being active more. Because it's like a reminder to people, oh, you remember this guy, he was so good in Mardaani 3. So, oh, acha, he's now so doing this. I want to know, how do you believe in all these things that, the idea of staying active a little more? Again, I don't mean only on social media. I mean in general, because I'm sure that all these things might have also reached to you in one way or another. Okay, right? That, okay, you know what, okay, you've done good. Let's just plan out the way, how to, make sure you
PR
are.
karenge.
Yeah, PR karenge. Kaise aap kahan pe dikhenge, kya hoga. And some are good, some are bad. I just want to know, how is that?
Bro, I am starting out right now. I'm a very young actor, and I think one of the advantages that you have is you get to sometimes decide what kind of an actor you want to be. I have always believed that the work needs to talk for itself. I have always done that. I'm very shy also in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, I love talking to people. Like you said, you wanted to talk to me, and I was like, I'm more than happy. But I think if it's organic, it's good.
Yeah.
Because I think people can sense when things are artificial.
Correct.
See, as an actor, I know when I'm giving a shot if it's honest or not, if it's truthful or not. So ये तो मतलब अपने काम की बात तो मतलब मैं तो वो खुद नहीं कर सकता. Like if there are people who have wanted to speak with me, I would love to speak with them, and if it is organic, I'm more than happy to do it. But I'm not a fan of that idea only. That I think your work needs to first and foremost speak for itself, and then accordingly, I think you navigate your path. I don't have a film family background. I have done this by the help of my friends and family and my own hard work. And so I feel like whatever comes to you, you embrace it, and what doesn't, you don't think about it. Because that's not in your control.
But you do know, right, that eventually it's going to be like, a devil sort of speak that is going to catch up to you.
Sure.
Let's say you have 3 projects lined up. Yeah, hypothetically speaking, all are relatively big projects and everything. Then the first thing you'll have to think about is, or people will want you to think about is that awareness, like, presence, this, that, everything. Are you still going to be a little like aloof from the idea of that? See, because I understand that what you're doing is actually very rare, honestly. You must have seen it, right? You see it outside that maybe an actor who's not even done a project so far and has a million appearances, so to speak. We see all this all the time. I want to know your perspective in general.
I think the work has to do the talking, and I think you need to protect yourself. Make sure that you are speaking to the right kind of people, people who really want to have a conversation with you. And I think it depends from actor to actor also.
Of course.
I think वो priorities भी सबकी different होती है. I am not going to say that I don't know the chatter or that I'm not aware of it. But it's not something that I put my heart and soul into.
Right.
I focus on the things that I can do. So if there are people who want to talk to me, I'm more than happy to talk to them. Then I'm not going to be like, I'm a recluse, I don't like to talk to them.
Correct.
But I don't think it naturally comes to me to go out and talk about my work or be like, let me get that interview, because I will not be able to then talk to you like this. The way I'm speaking.
It may be fabricated.
And I think the actors that I have really liked over the years. You were talking about a show recently where Mona Singh is there. I think she's absolutely incredible.
One of the best right now.
You see her journey, right?
Absolutely.
It's a journey that rewards patience.
Correct.
And talent and hard work and sincerity. And so I think that the feeling of that when you know that about someone is very different from knowing like इसने एक interview दे दिया और ये, you know, so I'm talking about being organic in that. So I think if you just, and the people I look up to are all those people.
Lovely.
Who I think that have just worked. And the work leads to the conversation. The conversation, I don't know if that leads to work. So I'm very skeptical.
Love that.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great take. I'm telling you because, as I said, it's very rare.
Yeah.
These days, it's very rare. And I'm fortunate. I'm sure that you're planned out, but you've thought out in that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this unnecessary noise about everything.
Yeah.
Rather just because you know what, I'll tell you, I keep going back to this in general because right now also, when they're even filmmakers, a few filmmakers are very smart in general. I mean, everyone is a smart filmmaker and they have projects coming out, but they also sort of sometimes get tampered by this thought, right? But then I see a set of filmmakers that, I don't care. Because I remember this conversation I had with an actor recently, and she would tell me that Nina Gupta would tell me, tell a fellow actor that I had a conversation with that, how did I get Badhai Ho, which was obviously a turning point in a career. The director saw me in the smallest one school play and he just liked what I did. So that sort of gives you such hope that it's not important that necessarily to do everything, go here, there, everywhere.
Right.
But yeah, then there is the other side also. Some filmmakers are like, oh my god, no, but I want to know how many followers does he have, or how many appearances, or what is the buzz around him and everything. Do you get do you know about these things also, or you hear a lot about these things?
So I have no ego writing to filmmakers, and I have. Right after the movie came out, there are a bunch of filmmakers, and there are a lot more that I haven't written to because I haven't got their contact. उसमें मेरा कोई ego नहीं है. I feel like you should be able to reach out to people for work. If you like their work, if you want to work with them, just go for it.
Awesome.
But and Nina ji is a great example of. So I think you just have to be true to yourself and have faith in your craft. And reach out to people if you want to work with them. I have in fact there are many casting directors also, so I reach out to them. I'll be like, this has come out, and some of them have been very kind and responded also, saying that we'll watch it, and some have written to me without me even reaching out to them.
How lovely.
I think the right kind of people find the right kind of people. The right kind of work gets the right kind of people to make it, is what my belief is. Because even with Mardaani, मैं थिएटर कर रहा था and I was doing my own thing and it came out of nowhere, and I auditioned like I would audition for other things, and it worked out. But I know that when I was even doing the workshop with Abhiraj, who's the director, there was something that we found in that moment where I was like, I know this is why I'm doing this and you are doing this. So that is not optics.
That is not optics.
Is what I believe. So I feel like you said, नीना जी को उन्होंने play में देखा था, तो जिसको आपके साथ काम करना होगा या आपके डेस्टिनी में होगा, आप करोगे, वो होगा.
Amazing.
उसके लिए I don't think the chatter is, and in fact I think sometimes the chatter does not help people really give themselves fully to a part, because there is that, it's important to have preserve yourself as an actor and just be focused on that. So I think I believe that and I really wish that the right kind of people watch this film, and I have no ego in reaching out to directors and being like, sir, I want to work with you, I want to work with you. Then I have done that.
Super,
So that's good.
That is important.
That's the most important.
That is the most important. That will lead to work in general, I guess.
I think so.
Everything else is just an add-on, and nothing else. And I was obviously going through other things in general. Just I've already read about you enough, and from, of course, whatever is available through Google and in general. But I love the poem that you had written for Rani Mukerji. Aap hi Tina, aap hi Shivani, Rani is Rani, baki sab pari. And I'm like, I love that. I know I'll get to the poetry bit because I know that you're very passionate about that as well later.
Yeah.
But Rani Mukherjee,
Yeah.
like, oh my God. I mean, there are just some actors that you just envision, ek wo hota hai na, don't meet your heroes sometimes, kind of with
Yeah.
that saying that you might not like meeting your heroes because the real selves come out, because when you're working with them for a long period of time, it's obviously going to be their real selves. They're not going to be presenting something else.
Yeah.
But I think with Rani Mukherjee, it must be so different. Like,
Yeah.
she's such a thorough professional in general. Everybody keeps talking. I want to know your perspective. What is the Rani Mukherjee feeling? The working with him. I know it's a very cliched question, but you understand in what context I mean that. Because a real actor being real selves all the time on a set, being thorough professionals, and maybe having some fun interactions in between. It's such a blend of everything. So I want to know, how was that?
I think for me it was an incredible opportunity. I know it's a very rare opportunity. I was aware of that. And I got to learn a lot by just watching her do her own thing. मतलब एक चीज़ होती है कि मैं आपके साथ सीन कर रहा हूँ, बहुत अच्छे एक्टर हो,
Right.
तो मुझे काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है. बट एक चीज़ होती है कि मैं आपको आपका काम करते हुए देख रहा हूँ. एंड दैट फॉर मी वाज वेरी गुड. सो आई ऑफन से दैट एक्चुअली मर्दानी 3 has been my film school, because I have been a part of the process right from the beginning. Like, you will be surprised to know how that is such a big luxury
Yeah.
for a lot of actors.
Yeah.
I started with just having no dialogue 8 years ago.
Correct.
On screen. Then I
Correct.
had one line. Then I had one page. I can tell
Literally
you,
go
there are
to that
things on the
progression,
internet
yeah.
where if somebody is really smart, they will be able to track it down. And then I got one page, and then I got 3 sides, and this time I got the whole script.
Whole screen. Lovely.
That for you is an achievement when you don't come from
sure.
that kind of a background where you're like, yaar, ye. So to meet her from the beginning, to build a relationship with her, to go through the whole experience of the film with her, to have all kinds, to do action with her, to do emotional scenes with her, it was incredible. Like, when you're playing off of a talent like that,
Yeah.
an artist like that, I think you become better. So that was incredible for me. And of course, it's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She looks into your eyes and you're just like, it's a dream. Even in the most deadly of the scenes,
sequences, yeah.
you're like,
when she's then, because you're like, oh shit, no, I have to hate her.
she is, the charm is unparalleled. Like, and she's been very loving and very kind to me. So I had a great time.
Fab, yeah.
Yeah.
And because I've seen, like, I've unfortunately not interacted with her per se after a point of time, but I've just seen that warmth that, just as a human being that, just gives out that warmth to a person. As I mentioned, especially when you're working for such long periods together, right? That is so important sometimes.
Yeah.
And, now that I want to know that when these early projects happened, like, of course, you mentioned you were doing theatre all the time. Then, of course, Sam Bahadur. There was this lovely small little role, but such an impact. I love that little bit, that comes and goes. Then, obviously, Feels Like Ishq was also, there was an episode and everything. But my thing is that right now, obviously, now people will go back to those characters, because now you are like, oh, okay, this guy. Oh, of course, we didn't notice him, which is understandable in a film like that or something like that.
Right.
How much do you believe that people's perspective about you, now that you have something so notable that's out there, people's perspective about you is going to make a difference in the kind of work you get or you don't get?
I mean, I hope that I get my fair share of visibility. People's perspective has mostly been very, very positive. I have had people who have been with me through my theatre journey.
Yeah.
And when they write to me that, I saw you on stage, and then, so I know that there are people supporting you and rooting for you from the get-go. It is always very validating. It is always very nice, because you feel like these are the people who are really going to stick by me. Which is why also I don't believe in getting, buying followers and paying people to. Because I think even if it's like a bunch of people, but they are like really rooting for you organically, that's the best feeling. So people should go back to all these things, and they have, and then they've sometimes spotted me. In fact, I was meeting my dermatologist recently, and she was talking about. She said, "Are you in Sam Bahadur?" And this is when Mardaani had come up. I was on a flight and I saw it, and I said, "Yes, ma'am." And do you go to the theaters to watch it? He said, "Yeah." I said, "There's a movie called Mardaani 3, in which I have a small part. So you should please."
How
go and watch
lovely!
it." And then she went and then she wrote me one message in the night. She said, "It's not a small part."
Damn,
She's very excited about it. So it's always very nice, you
Yeah.
know, when people notice you and talk about your work. And I think what has happened with Mardaani is that people have really talked about the work.
Yeah.
And that really has surprised me. I mean, I was quite surprised to read some messages. जब मतलब लोग इतनी details से they have spoken about, oh, in this scene that happened, in that scene. So then you feel like I'm happy.
I'm happy
that people notice these little things. So that's very validating. I'm very happy.
Lovely, man. And you know, considering the kind of theatre purist that you are, in the best way possible, right? Because as I mentioned, you're one of those rare people I've met that who's actually a purist as an actor, who obviously everyone wants to grow in life. So a good film is going to be multiplying to great offers, hopefully, and all those things, right? But I want to ask you that, as I said, that after a certain thing, you know, does well, or you know, gives you love, gives you great critical acclaim and all those things and everything, it doesn't necessarily transpire into offers. You know, it takes a while. It takes sometimes. I've had conversations with actors who've had breakout roles, so to speak, and for like 10 months, 11 months, they've not gotten anything. Or maybe if they've gotten everything, it's like the same old thing, like same thing that they've done in one way or another.
Right.
So, you know, there is this, just like there is industry chatter, there is sometimes like this journalist chatter also that goes on a lot. Because, you know, then there was this conversation because like I was just a part of, as an eavesdropper, so to speak, and they were like, oh my God, he was so good in the film. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously he was so good, but then why isn't he doing, you know, where is he? Like, why is he not, you know, doing too many interviews? You've already answered that, but then they are like, oh, but you know, he should do this, he should do that. And I'm like, then this whole conversation about visibility and everything came to play. But I want to know, how does work, you know, how is it going to be in terms of work for you? Like the work that's going to come to you. Has it already come in a substantial amount in a way that you have had to say yeses and nos a little, you know, selectively? Or is it a thing, you know, you're still waiting for it, it's going to take its own time?
So for my first response to that is to all these journalists who have been here for much longer than me. Please write to these people, tell these people, recall these production houses and tell them that we saw this actor, and so please help me in this, because I think we are all in this together. Number one, that is, it's great for me to know that. I have been reading stuff. I have been auditioning for stuff, and I am open to work that challenges me. To be very, very honest, I'm trying to not take the easy path, but I know that it's a lot of these things are not in your control.
True.
And I don't have any. I'm not in a rush because like an opportunity like this also came to me after, I think, 3 years after Sam Bahadur. So, but I would like to do work that is good and that challenges me, and possibly take it a notch above than what I've already done. But if people are talking about it, and if people know people, please. Because you know, I also hear a lot of people saying that there is so many actors and you know, so there is itna shore hai aur aapko apne aap ko aur you have to put yourself out there and this and that. And I'm like, and then they're like, आप ये इस project में क्यों नहीं हो? So I was like, आप जानते हो तो आप please बोलो, क्योंकि मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ. It's not कि मैं जाके अपने घर में बैठ के बोल रहा हूँ कि नहीं I'm तो just going to work with this or that. But I think because there is a whole system that is at place, and I think our media has the power and is being consistent. So I'll just be like, please pitch me, please vouch for me, and I promise to give it my all. But I'm not saying no to anything. I'm being mindful of what I say yes to, of what I audition for. But मैं कुछ भी मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ यार. So if there are people who feel like I should be, please let's rally for me.
Super.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
We are already rallying. I've been doing it my own ways because you know, this chatter, as I said, it multiplies into more people at least. You know, there is this snowball effect of sorts. Lovely. And you know, the final question in this context. One of the most, I say this with a laugh because I've mostly heard the worst stories and then I've sort of saw it and I'm like, no, it's not that bad. Which I'm talking about is, the idea of casting at YRF. There's over the years, there has always been this, let's say rumors or whatever constantly going on that, the casting at YRF is a very different from the way, not in a good way, that it works, and it's a little brutal and, they treat this, that, everything, which is always been bewildering to me because funnily they've had the most launches, like so to speak, be it the Mardaani franchise or any other a couple of projects on OTT as well. I want to know in your case, because see, that's another thing that sort of deviates itself, is because that the idea of casting through social media presence and followers, again, that is not your case as well. You were a starter, you were not really there per se. I just want to know that was it the most traditional casting process as it was for you through Shanu ma'am or in general otherwise, or were there instances you'd be like, oh okay, this also happens, I had no idea, and oh my god, all these things are also happening?
No, it was the most traditional and normal and intense. Like I think I did the auditions, then I had to they have the whole process where then you workshop with the director, and honestly I think it was also one of my most gratifying processes as an actor. I had Shanu ma'am rooting for me. When I would go for the audition, she would just be like, all the best, do it well. So I can talk about my experience.
Of course.
Which was extremely normal and intense. Because while I was auditioning is when I realized that this is going to be a challenging part. And so for me, the focus was, and which is where my director Abhiraj Meenawala was really helpful, because he was guiding me through the process, and I'm sure that they were auditioning other people also, but I was at no point made to feel like you are not a priority.
Right,
I think that is very important.
That is very important.
That, because I'm sure everybody has a lot of talent,
of course,
that they are kind of scouting and even auditioning, but I was made to feel like I was given my time. And I had a good time. Honestly, I would love to work more with them, and it was really, really nice.
And because there has always been this consistent thing that the moment an actor or anyone who breaks out of YRF, they get a 3-film deal with YRF. I don't know if that's that has always been actually true or not. But I think working with them, I think it's generally mostly been great. Like I've never heard actors coming out of a SAR experience from YRF.
I also haven't, like, I mean, in my case, I think not just the director and the producer and the casting director, but the entire team that made the film, from the hair and makeup to the look, they are all people who are thespians, and they all welcomed me and embraced me like their bacha. And also, like, of course, giving you respect and due. But so I honestly felt really taken care of, and I had a good time, and I think I've made friends for a long time, because these are people. Like yesterday, I had to get some makeup and all, and I called my makeup dada, and like Dada. So I think I felt like I was a part of a family, and I'm very, very happy, and I think lucky that I got that experience, because that's all I can talk about. But yeah, I had a good time.
Awesome, man, awesome. And finally, on a parting note, of course, you mentioned that you're reading scripts right now. You are having your set of ways to work around. You've auditioned for a few things and everything, but in the most corporate way possible. It might sound like a corporate question, but I always ask this because I think that actors do think about it once something works or something doesn't work also. That how do you envision for the next, not 5 years, again, trust me, I know we're laughing because it's a corporate question, but it's just a thing, right?
5-year plan.
5-year plan.
5-year plan.
5-year plan. But it's more like, how just do you envision your career to be? Because there are going to be things that are going to be beyond your control. Some is going to work out. Some is not. Just like life, it's just life in general. But there is going to be instances where you have a control off, which is going to be, choosing the characters or sometime, because now you will have a little more leverage as an actor, right? That you will have, let's say 5 scripts are coming to you, which wasn't a lovely privilege that you had in your early days, because you just had to work and hopefully something clicks. Now you maybe have something coming to you and you'll have the choice. So have you got a little more conscious about that, what do I have to choose and what not? Or it's still that thing that no, I'm still in my, I want to just focus that if it suits me enough, I'm doing it. I don't want to care about too many things.
Honestly, like, I think I haven't thought about it, because I think it's a very loaded question. Like, the kind of career you want to have, or the kind of, like, people also ask you, what is the kind of actor you want to be? And I'm like, actors don't have choices, especially if you're coming from a non-filmy background. Like, nobody's telling me that, okay, this is the launch pad and this is how you.
Right.
All that you can try and do is do good work, work with good people, try to have a conscience, try to do work that you believe in, try to be a part of films that you can talk about and be proud of, maybe even defend. But I know that those choices are far and few in life, and those are lucky choices. I'm glad that the first kind of big visibility movie that I've done is something I'm very proud of.
Right.
But I haven't thought of a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. I just want to do good work and possibly be consistent in working with good people.
Nice.
I think that would be nice. Maybe after 5 years.
We'll meet. We'll keep meeting otherwise also, but 5 years later specifically.
Because I don't think it works like that.
That's
also.
true.
I'm telling you, because actors, I don't know how other people work, but it is not like that. It's not a business.
It's a linear. That's not a linear path.
And it's not a business model. You are in the work. You're in the artist field. And while I know that there is people also plan their careers like that, but they don't work.
They don't work.
You have to be honest. You have to be true to yourself. You have to focus on, I think, craft. And I want to do theatre. I want to be a part of different mediums. I want to make my music. I want to write. I want to do some courses on filmmaking.
Lovely.
And I want to live the artist's life. And I want to feel free when I'm doing that. So whatever it takes for me to balance the act and do it, I'll be more than happy. I want to live the artist's life, most importantly, than think of a 5-year long career or what kind of an actor you want to be. I never even imagined that I'll get Mardaani.
Correct.
मैं अपना काम कर रहा था, मैं ऑडिशन दे रहा था, मैं एक्टिंग कर रहा था, ये हो गया, मैं म्यूजिक बना रहा था अपना, तो मैं वो सब भी करना चाहता हूँ. So I think, I don't think like that only.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I also, it is very natural for you, but it's a great thing that you have added avenues in your, talent profile, so to speak.
Yeah.
Of course, you're a good actor. It's going to be just even better and better as you keep working. But you're making music, you're writing things, you've directed plays. So I think all these things are so important because you never know, what's life gonna be. The next day, you'll be probably directing a feature film as well, or writing for one, or everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's so important for an artist to keep sort of reinventing themselves all the time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, man, lovely.
Yeah.
But fabulous, Prajesh. I loved it. I love this conversation so much because I love that. You are one of, I've had a great conversations over the years and with people, but there are a few that I see the purity and that you actually there. It's not enough for the sake of saying it. There is an actual genuinity coming to that in general. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I all the more appreciate you for just coming, making time for us, coming here, doing this with us. And thank you so much. I really, really wish you all the best for everything you've lined up ahead.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being so warm and kind and reaching out to me. I had a great time talking to you.
Same here, man.
I loved the questions that you asked me.
I love it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.